One of the things that you should expect when you go to prison is a lot of apathy. Your job is not to complain and cry about people who don't care about your release preparations. It's to make sure that your release preparations are best in class. And that's why I strongly encourage that you use all of the free resources at prisoninvestors.org to help you develop a release plan. I know that there are a lot of shady prison consultants out there that promise they can build something for you and charge you thousands of dollars. This is something you can do on your own. And I'm going to teach you how to do it. Everything on Prison Professors is free, but somebody's got to do the work, and that somebody should be you. You should learn, what does a best-in-class release plan look like? Well, you could look at any of the profiles on prisonprofessors.org and get a kind of an idea. What does a good plan look like? Look at my plan. It should be iterative. It should be something that you're creating today, but that you continue to iterate over time. Why is the release plan important? It's important because all of the stakeholders that you're going to meet in the future, who have a very clear, very cynical view of people that have prison registration numbers, right? You are going to want to work to influence them to see you as something different. So because your release plan could have an influence on your earliest possible release date. It could influence your pre-sentence investigation report. It could influence your sentencing judge. It could influence your case manager in the Bureau of Prisons. It could influence your probation officer. Most importantly, it could be a guide that helps you stay focused as if you are the CEO of your life while you're going through this difficult challenge. But in order to build a good release plan, you need to know, what does it mean? What should you include? Where should you put it? How are you going to use this as an asset that will advance or accelerate you as a candidate for the highest level of liberty at the soonest possible time? So I would encourage you, go through the different courses and lessons that we offer, but here are some basics for a release plan. You want to think of it as a resume, okay? A resume that shows that you are definitely intentional. Provide your full legal name, talk about where you live today, what your understanding is of the conviction, the length of time that you are serving, talk about when you're going to prison, and what you intend to do while you're serving that sentence. If you have a financial obligation such as a restitution order or a fine, give your idea of how you intend to address that. Talk briefly about the nature of your conviction, what you've learned from this experience, and what you view your role is in making things right. That's pretty simple, right? Then talk about your personal history. Help the individuals who are reviewing your release plan get to know you as a human being. Don't allow just the probation report or press releases or whatever notoriety exists around you to define who you are. Talk about how you got here. Okay, describe your background, your childhood, your educational history. Talk about your work history. Describe some of the influences or turning points in your life. If you have a family, talk about your family. Tell them about your role or what you've learned about being whatever role you have in the family, whether it's a son, a daughter, a husband, a wife, a brother, a sister. What's your role in the community? Help build a narrative or a story that shows you are thinking about living as a law-abiding, contributing citizen, that you're very intentional, but also make sure that your actions in the release plan are consistent with what you wrote about. Don't say you're going to do all these great things in prison and then spend all of your time keeping up with the Kardashians. Make sure that you are working to be the CEO of your life. Talk about what you've learned from this experience. So kind of reflect and introspect on how you got here. In my situation, I would frequently write that I wasn't really in prison because I sold cocaine. I was in prison because I started making really bad decisions during the recklessness of youth, choosing the wrong friends, not paying attention to my parents or my teachers, and pursuing a fast life, and it had devastating consequences. But what's more important is that you're building a path showing you know how to architect your future. There's always more opportunities in the future than in the past, but only if you are the CEO of your life and you spent time preparing. As the legendary basketball coach Bobby Knight used to say, everybody has the will to win, but not everybody has the will to prepare to win. You've got to demonstrate you know how to prepare, and your release plan is evidence of that. So talk about your goals and your vision. What are you going to do with your life? What do you want to do? How are you measuring success along the path? Talk about how you're going to develop your skill set or your education while you're in prison. Don't be the idiot that makes excuses and lives as a victim and says, oh, the prison doesn't offer any programs. Oh, we're always on lockdown. Oh, there's no teachers here. There's no books here. You have to learn. We offer everything for free at Prison Professors because we know you can do it. But you can always work on developing your vocabulary, your communication skills, your writing skills, your math skills, your critical thinking, and you can always build a self-directed work ethic. And to the extent that you build that body of work, you are going to have an asset that you could leverage and use to open more opportunities and hopefully a higher level of liberty at the soonest possible time. Now, you also have to be thinking about finance, because a criminal conviction can certainly influence earning capacity and jobs. So make sure that you are showing that you're conscious about this and you're building a plan that shows how conscious you are. I was very conscious about my finances while I was going through prison, and because of that, I built a savings plan even while I was in prison that you could read about if you go through Earning Freedom. But I had a very successful journey. When I walked out, I had more than $100,000 in the bank because I wanted to be ready. And I'd set a goal in my plan of having enough money in the bank to sustain me through my first year of liberty after all expenses, whether I got a job or not. And of course, that opened an abundance of opportunities. Again, it's not about me, it's about you. What is your plan going to say? Obviously, it was one thing to say I wanted to have enough money in the bank when I got out, because I started planning very early in the journey. And if you've got 25 years to serve in prison, you've got a better shot of accumulating that than if you start preparing the last month before you get out. Make sure that you show your family support. Who do you have in your corner? How are they helping you? Okay, describe them. Build a body of work that shows how you're going to prove worthy of that support, and show how you're continuing this ongoing release preparation. Make sure that health and wellness and mental strength is part of your release plan. Show that you're very intentional about everything you have to do and what steps you're making toward personal transformation and remorse. This is not very complicated. I just gave you an outline. You could plug everything I just said into artificial intelligence and just talk, and you're going to be able to develop your own release plan today. But what's important is the release plan that you build today is just one step. If you don't know how to use it or take the steps on how to use it, it's just going to be words on a page, and maybe people won't listen to it or pay attention to it. You have to work it. And that's why I encourage you, pay close attention to the lessons we offer at Prison Professors, and don't pay attention to any spammy prison consultant that pledges they can do something for you that they didn't even know how to do themselves while they were in prison. You've got to be the CEO of your life. Nobody knows your life better than you, and you can do this. I know it because I did it while going through 9,500 days in prison, and that's why I built this ministry. But I want you to build your release plan, publish it on your profile at prisonprofessors.org, and update it, every 6 months, so that it's continuously showing what's different in your life. Why are you a great candidate for the highest level of liberty? The harder you work on yourself, the more effective you are going to be at building your own constituency of advocates for you. Use your profile as an asset for self-advocacy, and it's going to make a huge bit of difference in your life. You can get everything you want at Prison Professors for free. I'll never lie to you, and I'll never ask you to do anything that I didn't do in prison, and I'll never charge a penny for anything we offer at prisonprofessors.org. I just want you to be the change you want to see in the world. If you need to talk to somebody, I only recommend Justin Paperny. You could visit and participate in his interactive webinars where you can get answers to your questions. It's whitecollaradvice.com/nonprofit. But you can do this on your own. I trust you. I believe in you. My name is Michael Santos, and I hope that you'll subscribe to our newsletter. You'll follow us on social, and you'll be cool.